Hi, this is Sarah McClure. Welcome to the Flavors of Old San Juan food tour. I highly suggest booking this tour early in your vacation so that you can get a great feel for the city, learn some history, and then you can come back to your favorite restaurants later in your stay. If you're driving into the city, there's a great parking garage that makes it very easy to walk up into the city. We only had a 4-minute walk from the parking garage to our meeting point at Carly's Fine Bistro. If you're not up for walking, garitas are free taxis that travel around Old San Juan. You will need to tip your driver though. Nahiomy was our tour guide. She has such a love for Puerto Rico. She knows all the history and she can tell you great stories about the restaurants, tell you all about the food you're going to eat, and really give you a nice tour.
Second goal. Guys, we're going to learn a little bit of history and culture of Puerto Rico. I will not give you a test at the end, so it's all right if you don't remember the details. I will still give you the information. And the last goal. Here in Puerto Rico, we have a saying that goes like this. Basically, it means that when our belly is full, Cuatro sombras means 4 shades. These guys have been growing coffee since 1846. So they really know what they're doing. Coffee in Puerto Rico, it's stronger than coffee in the States. And one of the reasons for that is because we use a medium roast here in Puerto Rico. When they plant the coffee, they do it underneath the shade of 4 different trees. That's why the place is given that name, Cuatro Sombras, because of those 4 shades that help coffee to grow. The less you roast a coffee, the more caffeine it preserves. But actually a light roast is the one that really packs the punch right there. Here in Puerto Rico, you may have noticed that sizes of coffee are not that huge. They're like 6 to 8 ounces. And today you're gonna try, I think it's 4 ounces of coffee. Cortadito, it's an espresso with a splash of milk. The reason for that is because at that time no one was regulating constructions in Old San Juan like they're doing right now. The Institute of Commerce got inaugurated in the 1950s and they regulate everything. As you can see, the majority of the buildings you're going to see are like that one with the square windows, the square balconies as well, and this European Spanish architecture, which is very common to see here in Old San Juan. Old San Juan is a historical landmark. So here you cannot remodel buildings, you can restore them. Originally a military city. The Spaniards were the first one to arrive here and their purpose was expanding their territory. Trees when they were not given any advantage, military speaking. Actually they were an advantage because as you can see right now they're blocking the view to the building. Most of them were 1 story. So that when you were on the roof of any of these, you had a 360 view of all the city, and these blue ones next to it are both neo-Moorish architecture. The Moors lived on the south of Spain for over 800 years. That's one of the reasons why we have this Moorish architecture with us as well. As you can see, it looks different. It has arches, it doesn't have the balconies the way that the Spanish one does. And one of the things that differentiates the most is the tiles. 9 flavors at the time. People started trying the flavors and they became a hit. Now every time you come to Old San Juan, you need a popsicle from Señor Paletas just because it tastes amazing. this start of the wall that at some point used to surround all of Old San Juan. And in Puerto Rico, Christopher Columbus arrived in 1493. Nothing else happened at that time because Christopher Columbus basically came here, he stuck a flag, he claimed that's for Spain, and then he left. And it wasn't until 1508 when things actually started to change here in Puerto Rico because Juan Ponce de Leon arrived. Juan Ponce de Leon arrived with full Spanish force, and they settled across the bay in Caparra. Because the wall starts from the break line over there to the break line on that side. It was a massive wall that covered and surrounded all of Old San Juan. There was no way in or no way out. There were only 5 gates at that time. And outside of the wall, there were 2 things. There was the gray building over there. That gray building used to be the prison for San Juan. And there's the cemetery all the way up north. So either you were in prison or you were dead. There was no other reason for you to be out of the wall. But no one agrees on actually where it was created in Puerto Rico. For example, that building right there, the orange one, Barrachina, that's the back side of it. On the front side of Barrachina, they have a big plaque that says Original Piña Colada 1963. So you can get the original Piña Colada there. But then if you go to the Caribe Hilton, the Caribe Hilton says that no. In 1954, we created the original Piña Colada, and then everybody else copied that. And then we have another town in the west side of Puerto Rico that they say that Piña Colada was brought to us thanks to pirates. So basically, everybody has their own idea on Piña Colada. My only advice for you is to try a Piña Colada while you're here. There was a festival celebrating our patron saint, Saint John the Baptist. During this festival, a couple of activities. One of them, a horseback race from the top of the hill, wasn't always there. That was just the end of the road. So on this race, one boy was too eager to win. Did you notice how the wall, it goes from being once and then it goes a little bit higher? That's because the boy, when he was racing, he forgot to brake and he was falling. As he was falling, a bystander that was passing by went on his knees to pray so that Christ of your help could save him. And according to the legend, the boy was saved and they built that chapel in honor of that miracle. The chapel was built in 1753, and I have pictures to show you because it only opens on the weekends usually. It's run by volunteer persons now, so I never know their exact schedule, but I do. This is a Puerto Rican and Chilean restaurant. It's another example of an alleyway being used in a different way. This alleyway goes all the way, and they made it part of the building. We're going to talk a little bit about the roots of Puerto Rico, and that brings me to the mask that we have right surrounding us. We have African mask, we have Taino mask, and we have Spanish mask. You're going to try today an alcapurria. Alcapurria is a Puerto Rican fritter. The outer layer is root vegetable and it's stuffed with beef. Then it's deep fried. And in the table you have 2 different sauces. Still, you have this one. This is mayo ketchup, mayonnaise ketchup, and maybe a little bit of sea salt. It's not spicy at all. Hot sauce, super hot, super runny as well, so be careful. And grouper fish ceviche. Yes. This ceviche has grouper fish, avocado, cilantro, onions, and a little red dot that is sriracha. Share in common that the main square has a city hall, church, and important buildings. This orange building right here, this is the original city hall in Old San Juan, constructed in 1523. The city hall later got relocated to Plaza de Armas, but just so you know, it started here. That big building right there, that's our cathedral, St. John the Baptist Cathedral. It's celebrating 500 years. It was constructed in 1521. Gives me an opportunity to talk to you about this right here, this interior patio. It's something that a lot of buildings in Old San Juan actually share because there's no room for an outdoor patio in Old San Juan, so most of the patios are indoors. It's fried mashed plantain. They did the frying, you are going to do the mashing. But mofongo is something that we eat a lot because we eat a lot of root vegetable, and then the frying because of our African heritage. When you finish with this dish, you're gonna feel like you're about to explode because green plantains are full of starch. You're receiving the mofongo inside of what we call a pilon, which is like a mortar for you normals. And you have like a wooden pestle on the side. In the bottom of that mortar, you have garlic. You start your mashing. If it's easier for you, you can grab your pestle, push, and then twist. This is a Puerto Rican company with a family-owned company, and they just went and they're like, everybody likes gelato, so let's make competition for it. So we got them right here.
In all, we walked about 3 kilometers, which is just less than 2 miles. We filled our bellies with amazing local food. We enjoyed history lessons and great stories. Thank you, Nahiomy, for a wonderful adventure.